All right, last formal session of the day.
And then happy hour.
And then happy hour. So again, my name is Adam Geller. I'm one of the co-founders of the International FOXP1 Foundation. And with me is Karl Whitney, my co-founder and co-president.
Good afternoon.
So we were kind of going to end this session talking a little bit about the foundation. There are going to be some questions or things we'd like to hear from you as well. Can we go to the next slide, please? Go to the next slide. We're going to move quickly too. Even easier, you met everyone twice already. Go to the next slide. So it's 3 slides down. This one's worth staying on for a second because I had a number of people ask me, just didn't know a lot about the foundation. So all of this is on our website, but just to give you a quick context of who the foundation is and where did it come from, right? You can see what our mission is here. Foundation started in 2019. It's all parents, so just some quick logistics, all parent volunteers, all parents who are involved and families involved with FOXP1, either have a child, have a grandchild. So there are no paid members of it. At some point, we probably need that. But everything you've seen so far with the International FOXP1 Foundation comes from volunteers and then comes from donations from anyone who's contributed to it. So it is completely a parent-led organization right now. And despite that being the case, small but mighty, a lot's happened. So 2019, people have asked, was this the second, third, fourth event? 2019 was the first time parents really got together. We'll say in the US, there were some regional things around the world, but that was probably about 20 families met in New York City. And that kind of spurred the interest for, is there something more that we could do together? So probably all of you know that there's a lively and vibrant Facebook community that was started before the foundation even existed. The foundation now participates with it, but it is a great community online. 2020 is when we started the foundation. We formally established, got the group together, say we want to do something, spent time building out the website, and really launched it in 2021. So really still relatively new. The first one down. That could be a flood. Oh, look, the shoes are coming after. Perfect. So we launched the website, got our nonprofit status, got all of our logos, trademarks, et cetera, started getting monthly newsletters out, Zoom chats, planning the idea for having this conference. 2022, we established our scientific advisory board. We built out the ambassador program, launched the RareX program to start doing the data collection, which we've talked about several times. And we raised a decent amount of money, which is principally what allowed us to do this kind of event. So a lot's happened in a very relatively short period of time with a small group of folks. Let's move to the next slide. So we want to spend time actually with the group here asking you, what do you want out of the foundation? So we have some ideas and there are thoughts that we have of what we're going to continue doing, but it's still super early. So if there are things that are specifically interesting, now would be a great time to come take this mic from me and ask that question. We'll put the mic out because we want people who are on Zoom to hear the question. We like to collect a little bit. We have some asks for you, so don't worry if you don't ask questions. We are going to ask you because there are things we know we need. But I would like to just turn this over to the group for a moment and ask, what are you interested in? What do you want to know more about the foundation, and what do you think we should be focusing on? So I'm going to walk down slowly while someone decides to raise their hand. Someone's going to raise their hand.
I have a question. I don't need to.
All right, I'll repeat it for the people. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, what are the fundraising ideas should we explore? I'm very new to this group. I don't know what ideas we have explored. Start with that.
Sure. So the question was, what fundraising ideas have been explored, and what other ones do we think that we could explore?
So we have done, some of the most successful fundraisers have been community sourced. So last year, Caroline and her family set up a fun run walk, like a virtual thing that was just like, they didn't have to set up the actual course and have water laid out.
How about rather than you explain it, Caroline?
Yes, great.
Hi, I'm Caroline, for whoever I haven't met. So we ended up doing a virtual 5K last year, and it basically, we set it up through Run Sign Up, where people from all over the country could do a run or a walk in their own neck of the woods. We ended up doing one with our family and raised over $17,000. And I think it was because it was the first time we put it out there to our community, what our daughter has, and everybody wants to jump on board. They want to be there and to support you. So it just takes us to take that leap to put it together, whether it be a run or whether it be some other fundraising. And so we're doing that again this year. So we really hope that you guys will bring that back to your own towns and get your crew together and run or walk or do whatever. We make t-shirts every year. And so yeah, that's kind of what that is. And that's it's August 12th this year. And we'll be sending, I think, Gail, did you put a QR? It's on the event page. Yep. And you can make a team on the website, and then whenever the people in your community want to sign up, they go to your actual team. So then you can make your own personal goal for your area of the country. So. Oh.
Sorry, I'm John, Caroline's husband. I was just going to add, I thought it was super successful because we kept it local. And that allowed us to, like, we had friends and family, we were about 100. This year, we're going to open it up to our broader community. We're probably expecting like 350. And again, it's just going to be more resources that we can add to this. I mean, certain ideas that I thought it's just the classic golf outing, Top Golf, all the different local stuff. That's really going to drive, in my opinion, will drive the needle home. So, yeah, our friends like to drink beer and donate money too. So,
Yeah, two other real quick donation concepts too. So even much smaller, we've seen Facebook, birthdays, do birthday donations. That's a really quick one. I think we even have instructions that we've put out for how to do things like that. My nieces did bat mitzvah gift program, and they raised several $1,000s for that. That was fantastic. So we see lots of different ways people can contribute. I've even had a few people said in memoriam for someone who passed away to do this in honor. And we set up a separate payment link very easily so it could be tracked and people could know who donated and get be able to send out thank yous and the like. Other comments?
Yeah, we have our foundation, of course, to gather funds in the Netherlands. And we started to write also to big asset funds. It takes up a lot of time, and you have to have a really good setup of your of what you need and why you need it, what you need it for. But it got us to gather a lot of funds. So I don't know if you ever thought about that.
I would like to do something like that in Germany as well, and to keep it as less work as it is possible. So it would be helpful if we would have these concepts to kind of have it and to just convert it in Germany or wherever we live, and to save work, to make it, yeah. Is that possible to summarize all these things and then to...
Yeah, I think it definitely is. I think the mechanics of doing each of these, some of them are very repeatable, and we have a little bit of the infrastructure already for these. Like for the walk, I work with Caroline, pretty quickly set up a donation page, made it very efficient, very clean for the donations to come through. So there are definitely pieces that we've now done multiple times and we know how to do again. I think they're... Okay, I'm gonna go back this way then.
They have farmers.
Yeah.
They put it on Facebook. My daughter has FOXP1. The organization will be doing a drive. We're trying to get to 100,000 this year. Please donate.
They do. So our donation link is our donation page is always running. A drive, yeah. So we have not done a concerted drive ourselves yet as the foundation. Oh, they will. It's just a matter of time and energy and yeah, and volunteers who want to kick one off. Yeah. Yes. So the efforts of putting timelines on it, we just talked about, you set a goal that's achievable because people like to exceed the goal. There's all sorts of methods in how you do this. matchings that you can do, whether it's organizations or limited time. If you do this, we have a match this weekend. There are lots of ideas that I think can drive.
Hi, John McCarthy from Omaha here. I just maybe want to add to that and think we as a group can gain some momentum if we just pick a day and make that our day. And then collectively, we can all do, whether it's August 12th or anything else, do your thing on that particular day.
I think that's a great idea as well. There are days we've tried to do a little bit on generally on Rare Disease Day, but I do agree we were getting to the size and having a community that we could be looking at something like that.
You're doing it again.
Yeah, send pictures, because I think the more people see, it's from Friday to Sunday, because it's virtual, so you can do it anytime that day. It's from Friday to Sunday. August 12th is when our community is doing it, but it's the 11th through the 13th. And send pictures so we can post them and so other people can do it. I think that momentum, like what you're saying, is that we're a community now. We know each other, we know our faces, we've hugged each other. Let's keep this going and raise money so that other people can still have this exact same experience who's never met anybody else with FOXP1.
So for the time, I'm going to shift from donations, and I read your mind that you had something else to say other than fundraising.
I wanted to address the first two questions on the board. So it appears to me that the community is going to grow a lot in the next 2 to 5 years. The availability of testing, awareness, people are coming into the Facebook group all the time. So I'm thinking that the foundation might be able to help in terms of maybe formulating some kind of onboarding, because what I see now is people kind of land in the Facebook group. The questions tend to be very similar, which is understandable, but maybe there could be volunteers. I'll raise my hand, as I get deeper into this to, say, hey, welcome, I'm your new member ambassador. Let's have those conversations. In terms of what we should prioritize or do more of, which also ties to this event, the breakouts have been so rich in discussion that bringing some of that to our Zoom spaces where we can continue those maybe more specialized conversations around like puberty or behaviors or what do we do about screen time, that would be very valuable. And at an event like this, I would also love to see us maybe have a slightly more organized time to share stories, just one-to-one. Here's where I am, where are you, as opposed to a presentation. Thank you.
Great ideas.
Thanks. They're great, and we're smiling because these we've dreamed about these in our board meetings. Of yes, we know we would love to be doing them. So it's great to hear the reaffirmation of it. But the whole concept of a welcome pack, right? We get so many new diagnoses. People show up on the Facebook page, and we know we want to send them 5 things, right? And financially, it's not that expensive. We've raised enough money. I think we can do those things. It just takes time to put it together. So I think we have good ideas on that. And I think it's great to hear that because I do think that would mean a lot, as well as each of the other pieces that you just mentioned, I think are great concepts.
I was just gonna say, for people who do jump on, the ambassadors should be reaching out. Have you joined with the foundation and okay, because I know Susan and I for the United States, we always send out a welcome email, and then that's a time where people can put their questions in, and I know all the other ambassadors do that. So if you haven't received that, I apologize, and I will send it to you. But if there's something beyond just an email that you feel like we should be doing, and if you want to be a United States ambassador, you're more than welcome to volunteer for that, and we'd love it.
Maybe 1 or 2 last comments? John?
Sorry, last point on fundraising. I just want to add, make sure if anyone wants to jump into it, do not be afraid to contact local businesses for help. I've noticed that a lot of people want to do it. A lot of businesses are willing to donate money, cater. I even had a friend, I brought up a golf outing that literally would donate the entire golf course. So don't be afraid to ask for help. They absolutely will. They'll get behind you and make a lot of it.
And I know, like, for the US, I was gonna suggest, like, I'm not a very vocal online person. I don't do that. But but contacting, because I think, like, who am I gonna tell?
who's going to want to do this? You know, I'm kind of private, believe it or not. And I was thinking going to my school, to my kid's school, they know him, and going to his PTA that always throw a million events, like the parent teacher associations, and to say, we're doing all these events. You all know Hudson. What if, like, for example, we're like, hey, can we add an extra one on there for Hudson that the school knows about, that the school helps promote? All the kids that have been in his classes and know him, and his teachers and the administrators that are involved with him are like, oh yeah, this is already his community at school. And so that was just my thought, because, you know, plus I'm not running. No, I'm just kidding, I do.
It's a great suggestion. I feel like someone might have actually done that too, but I just read so much on the Facebook group, but I thought someone might have actually done one that went well.
Hi, I'm Ashley from Wisconsin. So like you said, I see us growing a lot in the next 2 to 5 years. And even from when we got our diagnosis and had no information and we were searching from our group to today, it's been astronomical what we've experienced. But I know, and I can't express how much I appreciate what you all have done to bring us here today. What I'd like to know more of is how can we get involved so it doesn't always fall on you guys and the founders, right? And as I see us growing, I see us needing a sense of committees to focus on different things and different activities. And how can we make that happen? And what do you need from us to do that?
Well, you read our mind, right? I think that's like the next
Yeah.
slide.
We're going to move right to that.
Okay, so very good point, Ashley. Thank you very much for raising that. We are growing. We have lots of ambitions, and we do have a limited number of people currently involved in the board. And we would love to have additional volunteers. It would be great to have sub teams, right? So the team that organized the meeting today is a subset of the board. So there was only limited bandwidth, right? So more people would definitely help. Some of the areas that I think we definitely need a lot more help in include helping us be more savvy and effective with our social media. And that's not just connecting with other people, but also promoting ideas, promoting fundraising opportunities, announcing, providing a link to a new important scientific article, and pushing that information out through social media in a way that's compelling and gets eyeballs, right? And clicks, right? So I know all those buzzwords, but I don't know how to do any of that. So definitely like someone or a set of people who can tackle social media would be really, really valuable. Right. And then another big one, I'm going to skip down to the third one also. So grant writing is an area that we know that's in our future, right? One of our goals over time is to have enough money in our bank account to actually be able to fund research, to provide $50,000 or $100,000 to a postdoctoral researcher to do some kind of study. Well, that's $50,000 or $100,000 that we need to get from somewhere. We can do it from running, and we can do it from selling merchandise for sure, but we can also learn how to write effective grants that can bring in $100,000, $200,000, $500,000. Because some of these other committees or communities that we know about, like the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, is a vastly wealthy organization now. They've been at it for 40 years, granted, but they have hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank now because they have helped fund research that's turned into drugs that have been approved, and then they license that to a company who's selling it, and they get licensing and royalty fees along the way. So that's where I see the future eventually, is a very large, well-organized organization that has the money and the credibility to fund research that matters, right? So it starts with grant writing. We got to start with our baby steps, a small grant, the second grant. We did put in a grant application this year to the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute, PCORI, which is part of the US government. We got a lot of great feedback, right? So we did not get funded, but we got a lot of very useful feedback. So that's step one. And we're just going to try to keep turning the crank. But we definitely, if anyone out there has experience writing grants, whether they're small grants or huge scientific grants, please, and you want to help out, that's a way that could be very, very helpful. And then the third thing I'm just going to say, based on conversations I've had at the session today and yesterday, I think our website is awesome. It's a great landing spot. It's a great place to start to learn. but we can probably deepen our scientific information resources on the website. And it's a challenge to keep up with the literature because there is a ton of stuff going on that intersects with FOXP1 that would be of interest to people or to other researchers. And so I would love to have a subcommittee that helps troll the research and helps pick out individual papers to summarize, push out on social media, get the paper up on the website, and drive clicks and links back to the website so people can learn about the research, but also learn about the foundation. So it's sort of this holistic community that I'm envisioning between social media and scientific research.
Totally obvious one that's not on here, which doesn't require any fundraising, is strength in numbers. If you fill out the surveys and do the data collection, we
Yeah.
become a larger organization. So everyone, I think it was probably less than half of the people who showed up here have actually done it yet from the numbers we saw. The more people who participate in the RareX data collection, the more significant we are as a community. So there is no other thing, there's no other area that has as consolidated a set of data about FOXP1 than that right now, and it's not even that big yet. So the larger we make that, the better off we will all be too. So please do go through that process with RareX.
Yeah, and those data on RareX are the coin of the realm. That's how we get researchers interested in FOXP1. So if we have the money to support their research and their research bears fruit to lead to new therapeutics that benefits the community and would benefit the foundation, it becomes a
Virtuous
self-sustaining organization, like a business. I think that might be it on this slide.
Anything else you wanted to add from your notes before we just go to the last slide, which is just thank yous?
I think I covered it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yep. One more.
I think I covered the ideas.
The ideas. All right. Then we'll just move to the last slide, guys. So last thing, just have to end with this, right? So a whole bunch of thank yous. First one, thank you to the foundation and to the board for working to pull this event together. The second one, a super thank you to our childcare volunteers who I think are making their way downstairs. It was a lot. They might steal your drink tickets for the happy hour. I'm not sure. But super appreciate a whole bunch of people just dedicating their time today just to make sure that we could have as uninterrupted time as possible to run this event. Third, the operating committee. So yes, there's the board, but there's a subgroup of people who spent a significant amount of time to really pull the entire event together. And so I would like to specifically recognize Gail, Caroline, Susan, and Cheryl for a fantastic job in putting this whole event together. And then last, but certainly not least, thank everyone for attending here and on Zoom because the conference only works with the people in participation. So this is what made it, was everyone being here, everyone talking together. The content is nice, but the interactions are what's real, and I think what we'll all be remembering. So thank you all for coming.
Yeah, so folks that are still dialed in online, if you have questions, please email. You can email your questions to info@foxp1.org, and we'll catch those. But other than that, I think we're ready to conclude, right?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you very much,
again,
everyone.
everyone.